Hello, everybody.
Hey guys,
We are
Kevin
back.
here. Joe,
Do you wanna
we're
repeat that?
back. No, we're gonna keep going.
Keep going. All
We're
right,
gonna
cool.
keep going. We're gonna leave
Give me
in
the
our
raw format there.
we're gonna leave in our human imperfections because
That's right.
we know you guys will let us know if it made you mad or not.
Absolutely.
Just kidding. Just want to bring up real quick. We got a couple of comments on the last West Wing episode. Some concerns about how when we're talking you can't hear some of the dialogue, which is totally fair,
Yeah.
and you're right. The reason it's a bigger issue on this show, just to let you know, versus other shows, is because
There's no fat on it.
right, it's an Aaron Sorkin script that is cruising right along
moving.
super fast. It's
flying
moving
by.
really fast, and so to do reactions to it or commentary on it at all, it's kind of a necessary evil. You know, we don't want to just sit silently and stare at it because otherwise you guys would just watch The West
Another
Wing.
crucial thing. This is our first time seeing
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Trying to react to it.
Yeah,
If we sat here in silence, it'd be a little awkward.
right. Yeah, just keep in mind on that first time thing. Some of you have seen the show a couple times, and we appreciate the fact that you're here and that you do love the show as much as we're loving
we like
it.
you guys being here.
Right, but we don't know the stuff that's coming like some of you do because we haven't seen it. So sometimes when you get those great, like, bomb mic drop lines from Aaron Sorkin, you know they're coming and we don't. so
Sure.
And so they catch us by surprise.
We do have the subtitles on for this episode.
Yeah, we're going to try to do better. The only reason I'm mentioning it is you're right. And we're going to try to do better. We have the subtitles on to make sure that happens a little bit less. And we're going to try to be cognizant of trying to find those very few down moments in which to kind of react to it.
Sure.
As best we can. Because, again, none of the criticism's wrong. We're just kind of doing the best we can. So at any rate, kind of sorry about that, but we'll try our hardest. We are loving this show. We're up to episode 7 of the first season now.
Yeah, last episode was great.
Last episode was fantastic. It had probably my favorite speech so far in the show, and that was when Zoe was arguing with the dad, with President Bartlett, about being able to have her own private life and her own social life.
And you kind of see where he's coming from.
And, right,
but you also see where she's coming from. She wants to be a kid, but she
wants to be a kid, but he really lays out that worst case scenario, and it's frightening. The scenario he describes is like, oh my god, yeah, you do have to think about that kind of stuff. It's like, what's the worst thing that can actually happen when you're the most powerful man in the world and your kids are out there in the world somewhere? The people you care about are out there somewhere.
I think, relatively speaking, the show is kind of a light show.
Yeah,
that was a pretty heavy speech there.
Right, and I'm guessing that because it's such a long run show, we're going to get more heavy moments like that.
Where
I imagine so. Like heavy real world issues are going to happen. Hopefully not that issue specifically.
No, yeah, that'd be kind of a different show.
Right, but at any rate, it was a really, really super well written, well done episode, and let's face it, we expect nothing less from this show, from this cast, from Aaron Sorkin,
from Master Sorkin.
Yeah, exactly. So we are on episode 7,
State Dinner.
So something
should be fun.
So everyone's going to be fancy.
Oh yeah.
For those of you watching, for those of you watching on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. We really do appreciate that. We appreciate all the comments, even those expressing concern, of course, that we definitely want to address. And for those of you enjoying the show, thank you so much. We are loving it as well.
Yeah.
Shoes. I believe she'll be wearing shoes. Yes.
Isn't this a dumb thing they have to cover? Like, who's wearing what?
Rhinestone and mother of pearl toe buckle.
I wonder if we're going to meet the first lady in this one.
I was just thinking
the clothes. Yeah.
I hope so.
Nothing on the nuclear test ban treaty.
All just the clothes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Priorities.
Right. I'm glad they kind of addressed that. It's like, this is the thing you care about.
An InStyle magazine's issued press credentials.
Yeah, Hurricane Sarah.
Sarah's a hurricane.
Yes.
Where's it heading?
Georgia and parts of the Carolinas.
When?
It'll hit landfall by tonight. It's property that local law enforcement's had surrounded for 4 days. A farmhouse with anywhere from 18 to 40 survivors.
That's always tough.
Yeah.
Are there kids? A hurricane's picked up speed and power and is heading for Georgia. Management and labor are coming here to work out a settlement to avoid a crippling strike that'll begin at midnight tonight. And the government's planning a siege on 18 to 40 of its citizens, all the while we host a state dinner for the president of Indonesia.
I'm sorry, CJ.
Black suede and velvet Manolo Blahnik slides with a rhinestone and mother of pearl toe buckle.
Welcome to America.
That is brilliant.
That is such good writing.
Okay, that shot was brilliant too. The tracking shot, and they just kept adding new actors in the frame. That was a really good way of doing that too.
And to introduce the reporter who's hiding in the back there, like just by a camera move.
It's staged well. It's written well. It's acted well. This is a perfect show.
Yeah, this is a perfect show. This is like a masterclass on how to make a television drama.
Honestly, yeah.
What's going on with the truckers?
I'm meeting with them in the Roosevelt room in an hour.
CJ's gonna need to know what they're wearing.
Yeah.
A lot of the workers at management designated as part-time are de facto full-time employees who are working the same amount of hours under a different designation at lower wages with no health or pension. I can do it.
No, you can't.
Why not?
Because you're a political consultant and this is an actual, thing.
Leo, please tell
really?
Josh that I can play a role in issues and it's not going to be the end to this administration.
Thank you.
Toby, did you know that in certain parts of Indonesia, they summarily execute people they suspect of being sorcerers?
Yes.
So she's not a fan of this guy coming to dinner.
Right.
You're all crazy.
Toby knew.
I was gonna say, of course Toby knew. Toby
Right,
knows
Toby knows
everything.
everything, yeah.
No questions, right?
Do you like salmon?
No.
Well,
You're a guest.
our mistake.
Yes.
Making something else. Who cares?
For all the danger your industry's facing from competition, Seymour, the fact is that trucks are still this country's #1 way of moving things around.
Yeah, it still is.
Including food. I'm talking about fist fights in supermarkets over who gets the last bar of soap.
Man, we got close to that a couple years ago,
Sure
didn't we?
freaking did.
You have until midnight.
My point is, aside from everything else, this is a PR disaster waiting to happen, and it's going to happen today.
I don't like the fact that she's looking at it as a PR disaster when it's like this is a powder keg where kids might die. And one of not her only thought, but one is PR.
Yeah.
Fine, thank you.
What protesters?
Vermeil?
Vermeil.
Yes, sir.
Danny, I'm going to cover Vermeil at the briefing. That's all, folks. I got to bring in the next group.
So where's Toby sitting?
With CJ and Josh and Sam.
Yeah, that's the fun table.
I just wanted to let you know we're going to clear out a battle carrier group from the Norfolk Naval Yard.
Because of the hurricane. Did I mention we're having salmon tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
You are not sitting at the fun table tonight,
wanted to rub
Mr.
that one in
President.
there,
yeah.
Do you really think it's a good idea to invite people to dinner and then tell them exactly what they're doing wrong with their lives?
Absolutely, otherwise it's just a waste of food.
Toby.
We're not telling them how to run their lives.
Time for your government to live up to the promise enshrined in the hearts and minds of your people as well as the laws of your land?
That's rough.
That's not gonna fly.
No.
That would never happen. Has that ever happened at state dinner where like we've
Just
just
lecture them?
called out people like that?
I don't know.
If it has, let us know.
Yeah.
Well, many workers were blinded by the mercury while making these pieces. Louis XV would melt them down to pay for his wars against his people. So in general, they're seen in some circles as a symbol of a government's bloody and tyrannical oppression of its own people.
Say, what are you wearing tonight?
What am I wearing tonight?
Yeah.
Your paper wants to know what I'm wearing?
Not my paper, that was just for me.
Oh, is
You
he
want to know what I'm
flirting?
wearing?
Yeah.
But you can't have the press secretary dating a member of the press.
That's not a good look.
Right.
Well, it's better than her dating a call girl.
Right. That's true.
Just taking you?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, I really don't know, Sam. He calls me, he tells me what to wear, and the rest of it's a big surprise.
There's no way this will end good.
Yeah.
All that's left is to end it fast.
I agree.
What about a negotiator?
Negotiate what?
A peaceful settlement.
She does have a point, but I get what they're
She
coming
does,
from, too.
but again, her
End it fast.
her concern is just the PR element. And I
Yeah,
think-
you just gotta end it fast. I mean, it's
It-
not
yeah.
gonna look great.
It's unreasonably macho for the White House to be aggressive in preserving democracy.
Man, Schaefer's going to send in a negotiator.
Good.
Well, you're in the game now.
Yeah. So how's she gonna feel then if it goes bad? You know?
Terrible.
Right. Stockard Channing. Sorry in the credits. The
She's
first
not
lady.
married, Stephen, and she doesn't have a
Oh,
husband.
that's the first lady.
Thank you, Mr.
Wow.
Bartlett.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Excuse me.
Nice.
I'm not embarrassed by the Vermeil. It's not as if we spent new money on it. Yes, but it's history.
It's our history. Better or worse, it's our history. We're not going to lock it in the basement or brush it with a new coat of paint. It's our history.
Okay. Well,
Ooh, is that a thing that
answer.
people don't like these
Well,
days?
the truth is
They
we
do
almost every time.
Definitely, you cannot change history. I think
Right.
that's the point she's trying to make.
Yeah, you can't change history, but some people are trying to make it illegal to teach history.
No kidding. That's so dangerous.
Yeah.
For the night.
Yeah.
Let me introduce my date. Brittany.
Oh no.
Sam Seaborn.
It's nice to meet you.
Play it cool,
But we're
Sam.
gonna head on over, but maybe I'll get a chance to talk with you all later.
That sometimes
What's
happens.
happening?
Gets resolved.
it's a whole new situation.
It's moving east. It's moving back out. What kind of situation?
For some reason, there's a fleet of ships out there.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
Man,
Do you know about
this
this?
episode is stressful.
Yeah.
Evacuated a battle carrier group out of Norfolk this morning as a standard safety precaution.
Is he? That sucks. This episode.
Yeah.
It just keeps getting worse and worse. They can't catch a break.
It's like, a state dinner. So I was like, okay, this is really going to be. But it's like all this other stuff, important stuff happening around it, which is kind of the idea.
And it's like nothing's going right with everything, with the interpreter, with the hurricane.
They shot the FBI negotiator. He's in critical condition.
Oh man!
See, that's nuts.
Yeah, that sucks.
That's horrible.
Now and look at her. Now she knows that her intervention. Yeah.
Oh, get on the phone. I'm gonna throw up.
I mean, it's not her fault.
I didn't like the salmon.
I didn't like the salmon.
Of course, Donna.
Donna.
Yeah.
Yes. You should keep in mind all the things I do right.
Yeah, absolutely.
A friend of mine's in one of your jails. I want you to let him out.
That was a despicable and humiliating toast your president made. And I know you were the one who wrote it.
Yeah.
Does it strike you at all hypocritical that a people who systematically wiped out a century's worth of Native Americans should lecture the world so earnestly on human rights?
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Go to hell.
When you flirt with me, are you doing it to get a story?
No.
Why are you doing it?
I'm doing it to flirt with you.
Hey.
I don't believe you.
I know.
So?
So that's your problem.
Look, talk to me for 5 minutes apiece, and then we're going to settle this. Stay standing.
Power move. I like it. Yep. It was the perfect time to use it, too. Like, you morons are going to work this out.
Yeah, no kidding.
Mrs. Bartlett, good evening.
Are you enjoying yourself?
No. Yes. I'm not sure why, but I could go.
To pistol whip the trucking industry.
Yeah, exactly.
Why would he?
Because he can't save a gunshot victim and he can't stop a hurricane.
Oh, I love her as a character. Someone could just cut through to him.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes, ma'am.
That is.
I hope she's on this show a lot.
Yeah.
Because she's married to him.
I'll give you $10,000 not to call him with that guy tonight.
Oh my God.
No, that's not how it works.
At 12:01 a.m., I'm using my executive power to nationalize the trucking industry.
You can't do that, Mr. President.
14 White House lawyers disagree. Truman did it in '52 with the coal mines.
And it was struck down by the Supreme
It's been
Court.
50 years, there's a new bench, and I'll take my chances.
I shouldn't have stayed away so long.
Heck yeah, I agree.
You don't have the power to fix everything. But I do like watching you try.
God, she is so good. And so well written.
This is such a wholesome show. They're just good.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's just such a good person.
What the hell? Son, this is President Bartlett. All right, Harold?
Hit my head on.
Oh, man.
I hit my head.
Are you bleeding?
Yes, sir.
Can you put something on it?
Well, I need to get to the other end. I can't reach it. And...
Jesus Christ.
I know.
This is rough.
Oh, man.
Harold?
Well, we're looking at, I guess, 80-foot seas with winds up to 120 knots. We're shipping solid green water over the bow, and we've got a fire in the engine room.
Jesus. He's talking to a dead
Running
man.
lights make it run over by an aircraft carrier that can't see in the dark.
I'm gonna stay right here as long as the radio works, okay?
Yes, sir.
God.
That one's gonna take me a minute to get over. That's heavy. We were just talking about how the show is pretty light, but it does have moments
veers
of
into
darkness.
heaviness. This episode. I mean, there were still lighter moments, obviously, when dealing with the dinner
Yeah,
and dealing
it was
with
witty and clever.
with Danny. I think was Timothy Busfield, the reporter, and
Yes.
CJ.
Yeah.
But man, they were dealing with some really serious issues throughout. It's almost like an ironic episode because it's it was
It
called
is
the
very
dinner
ironic.
party, and like that's it, or the state dinner. I guess, and it was basically just a party, right? The episode is it's a frame story around a party, but
around a party it's rooted in history, but at the same time it's pretty superficial.
Yeah, a really superficial party, and then you throw in like all of these very serious real world problems that they're actually having to deal with around this crap party.
That's the genius of the episode, in the sense that like there's real issues that matter.
There's stakes happening.
Chevron dresses and all that, you know. It doesn't matter. This show obviously romanticizes what the White House could be.
Right.
And I think what is so profound and moving about it is the sense of duty everybody has.
Yeah.
And we don't have that anymore. That does not exist today.
Well, I don't know if that's fair, but I kind of. But I do think what definitely happens is you get a sense of political party and political strategy over that sense of it's more important than that sense of duty.
It meant something.
Yeah, no, it did. Just doing the job well.
It meant something back in the day to be an American, and like obviously they talk about how we have a troubled past.
Right.
Every country does,
right.
And
no one got powerful on the backs of just being decent.
And it makes me sad.
Yeah,
that we've come so far from.
When you look at this, and this is 20 years ago when this show was made, and it was even a bit idealized then, I'm sure. But man, what we've dealt with over the last 5+ years in America is so far away from that.
You want to be fair? I mean, you could even go back farther than that.
You can go back as far as you want.
This is a television show, but I mean, what they're speaking about is something that is attainable. I would like to think.
Right.
I mean, at this point, there's so many forces at play, but I mean, like, to have moral decency and to strive for, rights and justice, and it's just
to be powerful and have moral decency at the same time. Some do, some don't, but it just seems like that
moral integrity is such a lost thing.
Yeah, it just seems like in our politics that's kind of taken a backseat to like who could make the better mean tweet against the other party and crap like that. That just the whole thing has devolved into human cockfighting.
Yeah, it's not,
and I don't like it.
This feels very Capra-esque in the sense that, like, in the 30s and 40s, Frank Capra made very
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington really dealt with
political movies about a nation's pride. Which, I mean, that's not really a good example. But Nation's Pride obviously is not a good film to compare that to. But I mean, like, it was about a nation's pride. It was about us coming together as Americans and doing the right thing and truth, justice, the American way.
Right.
Everything that we should be standing for, and this does harken back to that. And it makes me sad to think that this was so recent and we've come so far from.
Yeah, at least the ideals are recent, and now it feels like we don't even strive for the
any
ideal
type of moral
anymore.
decency.
Yeah, it's gotcha.
This man, I mean, like, he stood on the radio and listened to this man as he passed away. I mean, imagine being he was third class,
right?
Third class radio man, and he's talking to the president as he dies.
He's probably a 19-year-old kid,
and that would be that would be the biggest moment of his life.
Well. But if it wasn't for the fact that he's dying,
that's
or
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Like, that gives his death meaning.
I hope so.
You would hope. You would think. I mean, it's
I mean, we don't know that he dies. It could be fine. Hopefully, it's like okay. Everyone gets to the hurricane.
Going to address? I don't think they're going to address that.
It may not. He's probably never going to come up again. Honestly,
and that's
right.
That's the thing we're trying to get at. Is it's now it's like, oh, you have people. We're not going to go to the White House. Screw this. Screw that. Like, the president sucks. In this show, it's like everybody respects the president because he's a very respectable man.
Right, and let's face it, in our modern times, if a disaster like this happened out at sea,
the last thing you want to hear is the president talking.
Well, you're going to have one party blaming the other party and saying somehow it's their fault that it happened.
Yeah,
which is all we seem to do now. And I know we're proselytizing and lamenting a little bit where our politics are.
We are lamenting for sure.
But you can't watch this show and not think about where we are politically in 2022 and how polarized everybody is. And how much misinformation is available, and
it makes you long for something like this.
Completely, and I think that's the point of why you make The West Wing and why you watch it 20 years later. It's like there are American ideals that are actually good and decent with good positive outcomes in mind, and we just don't even try sometimes to get there.
The sad thing is the farther away from this show, as the show gets older, it becomes more of a fantasy.
Yeah, and it's rough.
That's shitty.
Like, we can't even agree anymore on if people should have health care. What?
Go figure.
Right. At any rate, we'll stop whining.
Also, you made a good point earlier about how people don't want to teach history anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing. Like,
how is that different from book burning?
It's not. And again, I know that's political proselytizing, and I'm sorry if you guys don't want to hear us say it, but it's on the minds when you see that stuff. It's like, it's our history.
You don't have to agree
it is
with
what it
history at
is.
all, but it happened.
Yeah,
we have to learn from it.
You can't say we didn't have slaves in America.
We have to learn from it.
You can't say we didn't do a Native American genocide in America.
We have history, so we can learn from it. We don't repeat it.
Right. In Germany, they learn about the Holocaust. The worst thing that they've ever done. They studied in school for that reason.
Pretty progressive, as far as
and they're better people for it. And the idea of us just like pretending our bad history didn't happen to reassert our awesomeness is really gross.
It is.
But at any rate, it's the world we live in, and I don't have the power to change it.
We just sit here and talk on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Again, thanks for staying with us, and if you're still listening to us after we've gone through this, like, woe is us. Woe is the world.
I think some of these episodes it's necessary to have these conversations.
Completely, and that's why the show. That's why the show needs to exist, and why we keep watching it. We will catch you next week with episode 8 as we move along through the West Wing. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.